You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Bible Guys. I'm Chris, this is Jeff, and we are here to serve you.
And to make it fun and practical.
Yes, well, that's what it says.
That's what we're all about.
That is our tagline.
We are nothing if we're not fun or practical.
That opening video, if you're watching by video, that opening video was shot how long ago? 2.5 years ago?
Oh, years and years ago. No more than 2.5. It was 4 years ago, maybe?
Yeah. That's
a
a pretty outdated video.
Like a gajillion episodes ago.
Yeah. We need to put some effort into updating it.
Hey, do you think we'll get to our 1,000th episode this year?
Oh, will we?
Yeah, in 2026.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so awesome.
fun.
Well, hey, what's our game today? What does she say?
Here it is. Today we're talking about treasure that lasts. So because of that, Desiree asked us, she said, ask GPT what fun it can come up with regarding finding treasure.
So I love this. So I am a little bit of a treasure hunt kind of fiend. So I watch shows about treasure hunting and all that kind of stuff. Do you do that stuff?
I've seen some, yeah.
Yeah. So here's all I did. At ChatGPT, I just asked, what's the best treasure hunt that Chris Zarbaugh and I could go on right now? And it says, love this question. If you and Chris want a real-world adventure with mystery, puzzles, hiking, history, and a legit treasure hunt vibe, here are the best options, ranked by how epic the experience will feel, not just the prize. So the first one, and I told you this right before we started, it mentions Fenn's treasure. Mm-hmm. So Fenn was an art dealer, and this is all true. About 15 years ago, he hid a treasure worth millions of dollars in the out in nature north of Santa Fe in the Rocky Mountains somewhere. And then he wrote a poem. It had all the clues in it. Hundreds of thousands of people searched. It wound up making it on Good Morning America and the Today Show and all this kind of stuff. And about 2 years ago, a guy from Michigan found the treasure. It's kind of neat. Well, then another guy hid another treasure in the spirit of Fenn's treasure, and you can get that online. On Netflix right now, there's a treasure. It's a show called The Golden Greed or something, and one of the guys on that show hid a new treasure, and it just was released. All the clues were put out in March of 2025. So I think that'd be fun. It's all out in nature. The clues are pretty transparent clues. You just got to figure out how to get started.
I would imagine you'd have to be on that hunt for months and months and months.
Well, the guy that found it from Michigan, found Fenn's treasure from Michigan, he did most of his research online and then just went to it.
What?
Yeah. So he had done a little bit of scouting and working, but mostly he figured out where it was, just doing the work online, and then went to it. Yeah, so it's kind of neat. Anyways, that's kind of neat, right? And here's why it says it's perfect for us, you and me. Outdoor adventure plus rugged landscapes, deep symbolism in the story behind it, and you can retrace all these routes. You meet people who are obsessed with it, which you would love that part of it. There's endless YouTube and forums to decode all the clues, and this would turn into a spiritual explorer journey, not just a hunt.
It's true.
So that's good, huh? And then it tells us to pick a region and get started. So this is very Bible Guys meets Indiana Jones.
Which is right up your alley.
That's my life.
Yeah, right.
And then the other one is said we could try is the Oak Island mystery. That's kind of neat. But I think it's played out in that the brothers that are doing all the search, they're also from Michigan, from Traverse City. And they own most of Oak Island now. And so they've dug it all up, so that'd be hard for us to be a part of it. But that's kind of neat if you ever watch it. Oak Island is on, was it Discovery Channel or whatever, The Curse of Oak Island?
Huh.
Yeah, those guys are from Michigan. But there's another one, and I forgot about this. It's called The Secret. Byron Priest buried 12 treasures in 12 different cities, and he had these pictures drawn that had all the clues, and then he wrote a poem to supplement the clues. And only 3 of the 12 treasures have been found.
And how long ago was this buried?
This would have been in the 80s. He hid it in the 80s.
Oh,
yeah.
So these aren't being found.
Yeah, the only ones that have been found so far is, it says right here, only 3. I think the only ones that have been found is one in Massachusetts near Boston, one in Chicago, and one in Cleveland. But there's still Montreal, San Francisco, Charleston, St. Augustine. There's these treasures hidden all around the country.
Wow.
And again, it's poems and pictures. So this says, go all in for a few days like Sherlock Holmes with backpacks. So maybe we should do one of those. Find the treasure, man.
How much are the treasures worth, this 12? Or the 9 remaining.
Yeah, they're not at the same level as like Fenn's treasure or this new treasure that was recently put out. But yeah, it's supposed to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars a piece.
Oh, that'd be nice.
The boys, it was the first one found was in Chicago, in Grant Park in Chicago, and it was 3 teenage boys figured it out, and they got some really big gems that translated into some pretty good money.
Wow.
Isn't that neat?
Well, I'll tell you what.
You want to do it?
We
should do it. Let's take
Do I-
let's take 4 or 5 months off of Heritage Church.
Do I want to do it? Yes, I want to do it. I just don't think that we'll be able to do it. I mean, think about what kind of time you'd have to have.
Yeah.
It's sort of a unique spot to be in, right?
Watch that documentary, Golden Greed.
Yeah.
And you'll see the kind of people who have time for this kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, I bet. It's like you ever see National Treasure, where John Voight
Yes,
is the
that's
dad?
one of my favorite movies.
Is it?
Yeah.
Where John Voight is the dad, and he goes, "Don't you see? Just one clue. It's designed to lead you to the next clue, the next clue." And then they finally find those writings, and there's the lemon. Remember the lemon?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, okay." And he was excited about it, but then he found out it was the Declaration of Independence. Remember? You stole the Declaration of Independence.
Yep.
So funny, dude.
It's so funny.
It was a good movie.
Well, hey, talking about treasure.
Yeah.
So we've been in Matthew chapter 5.
Yeah.
And reading the Beatitudes, and Jesus said, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after justice or after righteousness, for they will be satisfied, or they will be filled." And we've been unpacking it. Yesterday we talked about Jesus said, "Unless your righteousness is better than the Pharisees, you're never going to make it to the kingdom." And what he was highlighting was the fact that we can't get it on our own righteousness. We have to have Jesus pay the way.
Womp womp.
Right? Well, then here's another one then, and it's talking about priorities, quite honestly. And so in Matthew chapter 6, verse 19, this is talking about that hunger and thirst, that desire of your soul. He says, "Don't store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven, where moths and rust cannot destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will be also." And are we reading all the way to verse 24, right?
Yep, 24.
"Your eye is like a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is filled with light. But when your eye is unhealthy, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. No one can serve 2 masters, for you will hate one and love the other. You'll be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money." And so the tie-in to the idea of hungering and thirsting for righteousness is directly the opposite. The opposite of us desiring God is almost always desiring stuff, right? So it's either I worship myself, I worship God, or I worship life and stuff.
Right.
And so he's really taking us on with regard to our other major priority other than God.
Well,
it's usually stuff and money.
One of the best comments I've ever heard in my ministry is people said the reason why Jesus talked 10 times more about money and stuff is because God knew that that was going to be the chief competitor for our affection.
Right.
And it's true. And everybody knows it, right? I mean, if we run the risk of putting something before God, chances are it's going to be money and stuff, which is why Jesus points it out.
Well, he knows that this is our greatest appetite.
Right.
Yep. Our greatest appetite that competes against our appetite with God is money and stuff. And it's because, for a few reasons, we think that money can bring us satisfaction. We think it can bring us security. We think it can bring us status and acceptance.
It does all those to some degree.
And fun and all these things. And so what happens is this longing that we have, this thirst in us, this hunger in us, we're trying to satisfy it with money. And when what's the guy who made the richest man in the world at the time, back in the 30s? Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes,
when he died, before he died, he had become a recluse. He was afraid of people. He was afraid of disease. He was terrified of dying. And he became really an odd duck. And but a reporter interviewed him and asked him, "Mr. Hughes, how much is enough?" And he said, $1 more. $1 more is enough. He was at the time the richest man on the planet, and he was saying $1 more will be enough.
By the way, when he died, do you know how much money he left behind? All of it.
Oh yeah. It's truth. It's the truth.
Yeah, it is true.
And so isn't it interesting? He was hungering and thirsting for something he never actually got.
Right.
And so this is what Jesus is challenging us on: is, man, don't waste your life laying up treasures here on earth. It just, he's not saying it's wrong to prepare for the future and invest. The Bible says wise people make a preparation for the future, and they leave an inheritance to their children's children and all those kinds of things. But it shouldn't become an obsession. Just understand, you're never going to satisfy that appetite.
Right.
Only Jesus can. And so he says you're wasting your time otherwise.
Yeah, and when you come across sort of the middle of this chunk, when it talks about the eye as a lamp of your body, it could seem a little out there, a little confusing. Like, why would Jesus pivot from talking about treasures in heaven and everything else, and then all of a sudden he says your eye is a lamp that provides light for your whole body? What he's talking about is in the first century, it was an idiom that was referring to how your eye is the way you see things, or your perspective,
what you're looking at.
Yeah, and so it's really it's your view of. That's really what he's saying. So he's saying, hey, the eye is a lamp that provides light for your whole body, and he's referring to the idea of like your perspective on money versus treasures in heaven will either fill your body with good things or bad things, right? You'll either be filled with enlightenment or you'll be filled with darkness, and that's really what he's saying.
Well, I think one of the most powerful things is when he says, if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. What he's saying is, what a devastating thing for you to get to the end of your life and find out you wasted it.
That's right, because you thought you perceived things correctly.
Yeah, you thought what you saw in life was, if you just had more money, you're going to be happy.
Right.
You're going to have everything you need. And then if you find out you spent your whole life pursuing something that was never going to fulfill, he says, how sad is that, right? How deep that darkness is.
It's like that saying that says you spent your entire life trying very hard to climb one more rung on the ladder, only to discover at the end of your life your ladder was leaned up against the wrong building.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's like you work really hard and then you get to the end. If the light you have in your body is actually darkness, how great is that darkness? So yeah, it's your perspective or your view. And so that's what Jesus is saying. He's saying like, you have to understand you can't serve both God, and the word mammon is the word in Greek. Well, it's not the word in Greek, but we translate it into mammon, right? It's not a Greek word, is it? Mammon?
I don't know.
But the word mammon literally means stuff.
Right.
So in some translations say money, but it's money and stuff. But more accurately,
this translation says you cannot serve God and be enslaved to money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. So a better translation, I think, is stuff.
Yeah. I was, go ahead. Finish
No,
that
that's
thought.
it. That's it.
I was in a conversation with a guy who is very enthusiastic about the Timothy Initiative, and he gives a lot of money to the Timothy Initiative, and he has made just a crazy, insane, more money than you and I can fathom. He's made, and
I can fathom a lot.
I'm serious, it's crazy money. And he was talking about, he's an old man now. I'm assuming he's still alive. I talked with him a couple years ago, but he talked about the majority of his life. He was talking about how he became shifted into this generous thing. He said, 25 years ago, I would have never thought about writing big checks and giving money away and all these kinds of things. He said he was obsessed with more. He said, that there's a passage in the Bible where Jesus warns the rich man. Rich man goes out and he's being so blessed and he's overrun with wealth, and he decides he needs to build more. He's going to tear down his old barns and build bigger barns so he can store more stuff. And Jesus said, what a fool he is, because he doesn't know that his soul's going to be claimed tonight. He's going to die, right? And ultimately, it doesn't matter how big your barns are. We're all going to leave it, right? We're going to leave all this stuff. And he said the craziest thing was, one of his last things he did before he became a Christian is he built these giant barns. He has one of the largest private car collections, and he bought an old 50s diner, one of those metal diners.
Oh yeah.
And he built, it's a drive-in diner, and he built a barn big enough to put that entire diner in, and then park all of his 1950s car collection all the way around it.
Goodness gracious.
Right. Is millions of dollars. He said, just for a barn for my toys. Right.
So he built a drive-in theater for his cars.
A drive-in restaurant.
Oh,
a
drive-in
restaurant.
Got it.
Right, one of those old metal drive-in restaurants,
Yeah.
right, with the little bellhops and the girls on the roller skates kind of thing,
Wow.
and the red seats and all that kind of. That's what he did. For all of it. Just as he said that was just where I parked my 1950s cars. He said I did the same thing in another barn for my 1960s cars, and I did another thing for my 1970s cars. He said I built all these barns just for toys, and
Wow.
then he said God changed his life.
Hey, by the way, I think you're right. Maybe it is more money than I can fathom, because I can't even imagine.
So then he was talking about it. We were sitting at lunch in a diner, by the way, in Naples. We're sitting at lunch, and he said, and then Jesus got a hold of my life. And he said, it's not that I don't enjoy those things. He said, they just don't mean anything. He said, but I'll be honest with you, I was becoming aware that they didn't mean anything. Like, I would walk through and I hadn't been in one of those barns for 3 months and everything's just covered in dust. What's the purpose? I got all this money tied up in this for what? What reason? Just to have it? And then what? And then he said, I started realizing my adult kids don't want it. And he said, I thought, I've wasted my life. And that began his journey of looking for purpose and looking for meaning. He winds up meeting Jesus. Jesus radically transforms his life. He wound up making some really good investments. He's giving away all the interest off of all of his big investments that he's made. Doing all these things. And he said, I find so much more satisfaction doing stuff that matters. It's because I realize when I invest in getting the gospel places that it's never been, that matters. It's
Right.
never in 2,000 years been, the gospel never made it to that part of India before, and I'm investing in make sure it gets there. Never made it to that part of South America, never made it to that part in the Middle East before, and I get to be the part of helping make that happen. He said, that matters. And then he started talking about children's hospitals and all these other beautiful things that he's doing around the country. And he said, using my wealth to help other people, really, I feel like I'm just doing God's work. Whereas before I was just doing my work and collecting. And he said, I just would feel empty. I thought it should make me happy. The project made me happy because it gave me a focus. Once the project was done, I was sad that it didn't bring me the happiness I thought it'd bring me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's interesting that what he's comparing here is, what if, and this is what I learned from that gentleman. I'm not saying his name because I don't have his permission. What I learned from that gentleman was he hungered and thirsted for stuff and what money could buy. And he was never satisfied. But when he began to hunger and thirst after Jesus and his kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
he finds so much satisfaction. He has the same hunger and thirst now for changing the world as he did just collecting stuff. And I think that's why Jesus talks about this. You can't serve both God and money.
Mm-hmm.
Choose one or the other. What would be best is if you chose to serve God and then have your money serve you and God. But what happens is a lot of times we wind up serving our money and then we don't find any joy or satisfaction. So it was really, I felt like I looked into the window of somebody who actually lived these verses out.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I remember Andy Stanley talking about buying like a really old, like broken down rust bucket of a car. And he goes, when I did that, he goes, it dawned on me that when I was a kid, he goes, this was my favorite car. And he goes, really what that means is you can really buy any single car that you want. All you have to do is wait long enough.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? You just find an old rust bucket rundown version of it,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, it is interesting how these simple verses can turn lives upside down because it gets to the heart of, a lot of us in the room. It means something different for everybody, right? So my placing money above God looks very different than that man's.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%.
Right?
Yeah, you and I can't fathom that.
Yeah, we
that's
can't.
an exaggerated version of us.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But we just think one more cruise, one more vacation is all we need, and we'll finally be happy.
Right, yeah. But it's always one more something.
One more watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I was coveting this watch, by the way, for quite a while. My wife finally bought it for me for Christmas.
Really?
Right? Yeah. Well, now I have it.
Right.
So now what?
Right.
Trust me, if she came and asked me how to spend $500 again, I would say, oh, I got something else I want now.
Right.
Right? Isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
Make all your wildest dreams come true today, and then tomorrow I have a whole bunch of more dreams I want. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how Jesus says, there your heart will be also, for where your treasure is, the desires of your heart will also be. And it is true. What he's saying is, like your heart and your desire follow what you invest in, right? And so it's like, you think about it, like, somebody who is not invested in Well, I'll give you an example. When I bought my wife a new car, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, I didn't buy it for her. I leased it.
Right.
So let's make that clear.
You rented her a new car.
Let's make that clear right now.
Sure.
But once she had something that she was invested in, because we're making pretty good payments a month, right? That's where she is. So did you hear me say this on Sunday morning? I used this as an example, like back in November. When I got her this car, I said, "Well, how do you like it?" And she said, "Oh, you changed my life." She goes, "I've never had a new car ever. My whole she's 54 years old, or 56. She said, I've never even had anything new my whole life." But she loves it so much. She goes, "I didn't know that you can get in your car and you could look forward to the drive to your work." She goes, because now she's in like this really nice car, Yeah. And so anyway, the funniest comment is that I'd say something about her car that she's named Caroline. And she says, sometimes at work, I'll just get up from my desk and I go out and I'll just check on her.
Go look out the window just to see if Caroline's doing okay.
Just see if she's doing fine. And he goes, she's doing good. No other cars that come near her, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're invested in something and you have investment in it,
you care about it.
Then you care about it,
yes.
Right? So I always tell people, I say, hey, if you want to invest, if you want to care more about the mission somewhere, then invest money first. Just write the check.
Oh yeah, boy,
right?
That's the other side of the conversation.
That's right.
I just told a story about a guy.
Right.
Frustrated. You're talking the other side. You want to change your focus.
Right.
I mean, change your appetite. Change what you're investing in.
That's right.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because he says, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Yeah.
What he's saying is money leads, and then your heart follows.
Do you know what? That guy.
Yeah.
He called us to a meeting in Naples.
Yeah.
To get a report on what he was investing in.
That's right.
That's why we were there.
Yeah.
Oh man, we weren't there fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
We were there saying, yes, what you put your money, because that's where his heart is now.
Right.
He wants to know. It's so important to him.
ROI.
Yeah. So his cars were in barns up in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But he called us to Florida because he's not there. He doesn't care anymore.
Right.
And he wants to know, hey, how's my investment doing? That's exactly. So what you invest. Oh, dude, that's great. If you want to change your passions and your focus, invest in the other thing. And in this situation, invest in the kingdom. And your heart's going to invest in your church, invest in doing good in the community, and your heart's going to follow after that.
That's
your
right.
heart's going to desire that.
Right.
You want to change your desires, invest in it. Get some skin in the game.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I think so.
For some of our listeners, the only way they can imagine is they can't hardly play golf anymore unless they're playing skins on every hole.
Right.
It ramps up the investment. You know this. You know how much your heart gets involved with the thing when you've got some skin in the game.
Well, it's like fantasy football. Like we don't do it for money.
No.
But we do
got
a church. Trophy. We get a trophy, but we do a church league. Mm-hmm. And when we spend all of our time, all of our effort, that all of a sudden now I care who wins the San Francisco game.
Oh yeah, I never used to care.
I never used to care because I have invested in it.
Yeah.
Because where your treasure is, there your heart will be
Chris,
also.
that's a good
yeah.
That's a good insight.
Cool.
I like that one.
All right. Well, hey, looks like it's about our time as well. So let's go ahead and wrap it up, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow on the Bible Guys.